Hello, my name is Paul Moore, and I'm the Southeastern Regional Manager for the Alzheimer's Association New Mexico chapter. As Regional Manager, I work with all aspects of our organization, including offering courses to those who are diagnosed with Alzheimer's, their caregivers, and loved ones. I also offer information referrals to local organizations that can assist with the various medical, legal, and psychological needs that come with the diagnosis. Finally, I also manage our local walks to end Alzheimer's in both Roswell and Hobbs. I just wanted to thank you during this introduction for joining me today for this 10 Warning Signs of Alzheimer's presentation. Before we get into the presentation today, going over the 10 Warning Signs of Alzheimer's, I want to talk a little bit about what we do as an organization. I mentioned some of these things during my introduction, but I want to give a little bit more detail on what these items are and how they can help. First of all, we provide information referrals. Basically, this is a statewide referral resource for any aging and dementia issues. We also offer education courses, as I mentioned. Some of them are taught by myself, just like the one you're taking today, and some of them are taught by our volunteer corps. We have a more in-depth program with our Living with Alzheimer's, which goes over all the different stages of the disease and how to handle different issues that arise, including symptoms, what the progression of the disease is doing in the brain, and also just techniques for managing it in those different stages. We also have Spanish language and bilingual workshops as well, available to Spanish-speaking families, so please take advantage of those. We also offer a respite reimbursement program that is extremely helpful. If you have a loved one diagnosed with Alzheimer's, you can reach out to us and we can offer you respite reimbursement, which basically gives you the peace of mind during a couple days a month where you can go out, have someone else come into your house and take care of your loved one while you're able to either take care of yourself, or go out and do things like errands like grocery shopping or going to the pharmacy. Another great resource we have is our 24/7 helpline. This is available day or night, 24/7 in 200 different languages. So if something's coming up and it's 3 a.m. and you just don't know what to do, but it's not an emergency where you want to dial 911, but rather just, is this a normal behavior? What's the best way to deal with this behavior? You can reach out to our helpline at 1-800-272-3900. Additionally, we also offer support groups. Currently, these support groups are all virtual, but we're working on getting back to in-person support groups. I personally am working with some new volunteers locally to try and get some local support groups going, so hopefully we'll have those for you in the near future. But even now, if you want to take part in a virtual or a phone support group, we have those available. We also offer one-on-one care consultations, which are more in-depth than, say, a normal referral or information, where you can provide basically a one-on-one consultation either through our helpline or through me locally. We also have safety programs, including Project Lifesaver, Silver Alert that we take part in, and of course we also have all of our other early stage programming like the 10 warning signs that help those either that are trying to figure out if they have the disease or trying to understand what to do once they have a diagnosis. So those are all the things we do here locally in this region to help those living with Alzheimer's and their caregivers. So without delaying anymore, let's talk about the signs themselves. So the first sign, the first warning sign of Alzheimer's is memory loss that disrupts daily life. So one of the most common signs of Alzheimer's, especially early on, is forgetting recently learned information. Others include forgetting important dates or events, or repeatedly asking the same question, and increasingly relying on things like memory aids or leaning on others for things or tasks that they once were able to handle on their own. That is the key. So a typical age-related change, though, that's not related to dementia would be sometimes forgetting information or a name. That is not necessarily a sign of dementia. That's just normal kind of memory issues that evolve with age. So it's when it's things that they used to be able to remember easily, and all of a sudden now they're having difficulty. So the next sign is challenges in planning and problem solving. So some people may experience new difficulties in their executive function, including things like developing or following plans, or difficulty concentrating on complex tasks. Again, when we're talking about more typical age-related changes, we're talking about things like occasional errors when managing bills or household finances. Just because someone forgets to pay a bill once is not necessarily a warning sign for dementia. However, if a person consistently forgets to pay their bills or consistently forgets important dates, that can be a sign of dementia. The third sign is difficulty completing familiar tasks. So people living with dementia often will find it hard to complete daily tasks that they used to manage with ease. These could be things like driving a car to a familiar place, or writing down a grocery list, or remembering how to play a favorite game that they used to always play. Again, conversely, typical age-related change would be occasionally needing help with new technology, or having trouble with something like a microwave or a remote. These are not necessarily signs of dementia. They're just common difficulties with new things. But if it's something that you know that they already knew and that they did not struggle with and all of a sudden do, then you know that it is a warning sign of dementia and you should probably talk to your physician about getting a diagnosis. The fourth sign is confusion with time or place. So, an individual living with Alzheimer's or another dementia may lose tracks of dates, seasons, or even simple passage of time. They may have trouble understanding something if it's not currently happening, or become confused about how or when they got to a certain place. This can become more dramatic and profound in the middle and late stages of the disease, but during the early stages, the warning signs are often confusion about when a certain event is happening. Just a quick example in my own life with my grandparent, one of the things that we noticed first on was they were having struggle understanding the passage of time. This is a warning sign that we saw. And it really came down to saying something like, oh, we're going to visit you during the summer, and it was still spring, and then they'd continually ask why we haven't come yet, even though it wasn't the right season. So that was a sign to us that they were possibly struggling with a form of dementia. The fifth sign is trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships. So this sometimes comes off in kind of different ways, but some individuals with Alzheimer's and other dementias may experience vision problems, but these aren't necessarily problems with their vision itself. But these do lead to difficulty with things like keeping balance, reading, and problems judging distance or determining color and contrast. All of these impact things like driving or navigating the environment around them. So if you notice someone all of a sudden is struggling driving, such as maybe stopping far before a stoplight or stopping too late after a stoplight, not because they didn't notice that the stoplight was red, but because they're having trouble navigating that distance. Also, trouble finding a place that they normally would drive to. Again, there are other things that happen with normal age-related changes to vision, such as cataracts. That's a typical age-related problem that doesn't have anything to do with dementia. But if you're noticing these problems and they don't have something like cataracts, then it could be a sign of dementia. 6 is new problems with words in speaking or writing. So individuals may have trouble following or joining a conversation. They may stop in the middle of a conversation and forget what they were talking about, or they may continually repeat themselves. They might also struggle to find the right word or call things by the wrong name. They may start to use more descriptive terms to talk about something rather than the name of the actual item. So these are things to watch out for. Again, verbal changes are another one of those signs that I noticed in my own family. Again, it's important to know the difference, though, between, for example, we all have trouble sometimes finding the right word at some times. Maybe we forget the word we're looking for, the name of someone. That's not necessarily a sign of dementia. But when it becomes a consistent struggle to come up with words that are kind of critical to speech, and you can't hold a conversation without pausing and trying to think of even, again, we're talking about sometimes basic words here, like chairs, like tables, like cars, and they cause that kind of difficulty, then you know it might be a sign of dementia. So number 7 is misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. So not just losing things, and that's something important to stress. Typical age-related change would be just, I lost my keys. And then we can go through the process of, all right, where was I? Okay, are they in the basket by the door? Are they on the kitchen table? Are they in my office? The normal places you can trace your steps and usually find the item you're looking for. However, when someone loses something, and they aren't able to find them. Again, they can't recall when it was they last saw it, or they're not able to identify the location where it was placed. Or you start to notice that people are hiding things in unusual places, or not necessarily hiding, but just placing them, such as putting keys in the refrigerator, or shoes in the refrigerator, or putting things in cabinets that don't belong there, or putting things in rooms there they wouldn't normally go. These can be a sign of dementia because of that lack of executive function awareness, that starting to forget the proper place for certain things. That is the sign of dementia. Not just losing an item, but losing items in odd places and not being able to retrace steps. So number 8 is decreased or poor judgment. So individuals may experience changes in their judgment or decision making. Again, this could be poor judgment when using money or paying less attention to their own hygiene and grooming. This can be very common in individuals who live alone. So if you only visit, for example, your parent or grandparent from time to time, and you come and visit them and you notice they haven't been taking care of themselves as much with their grooming, or you notice that maybe they got involved in some poor financial decision. Again, unfortunately, one of the things to be on the lookout for is a lot of those robocalls and those kind of calls that are looking to take advantage of people do target older individuals, specifically some living with dementia. So if you notice that they're falling into some of those traps, or you notice that they're making payments to strange people or strange places, that can be a definite sign of dementia, and it's definitely something that you want to be on the lookout for so you can stop it before it blows up to a major problem. Again, making bad decisions once in a while, very normal for all of us. So something like, I forgot to change the oil in my car. Okay, not a big deal. That's not a sign of dementia. Occasionally forgetting things or making poor judgment calls is not a sign of dementia. It's when it happens consistently or those daily routine things start to break down, such as personal grooming. All right, another important sign of dementia is withdrawal from work or social activities. So as we age, it is very normal to feel uninterested by certain family or social engagements. It's only common. Just the things that interest us may not interest the ones younger than us. However, someone who is experiencing a dementia-related change may start to lose their ability to hold or follow a conversation. And as a result of that, they'll start to withdraw from social encounters and hobbies that they otherwise enjoyed. The reason why is they're losing the confidence to engage in that way. So this is one of those early signs that is definitely to be on the watch out for, because most of these other signs individuals can usually hide. Because remember, Alzheimer's isn't all of a sudden you have a diagnosis and you have all these problems. It's a progressive disease. So what happens normally is the first sign you'll notice is a withdrawal from activities they normally would want to do, especially social activities. And that is because the person is defensive and doesn't want people to understand that they're struggling with certain things, whether it's the time or the executive function or any of the other signs we've talked about. So what they'll do to hide those facts is withdraw from things they normally want to do, whether they have a book club they like to go to, or a certain hobby they took part in, or a social group like a coffee club they went to in the morning, just hanging out with their buddies, drinking some coffee at a shop, and all of a sudden they don't want to do those things. If that happens, that can be a sign of dementia. Again, you may not notice any of these other signs, but you notice that they're withdrawing from activities that would kind of shine a light on these signs if they did do them. That's the person hiding. And that's something to definitely be aware of, because it may be the first sign you see, and it's very important to take note of. Finally, the last symptom we're going to talk about today is changes in mood and personality. So individuals with Alzheimer's or other dementias can become confused, suspicious, depressed, fearful, or anxious. Again, they might get easily upset at home or even when they're out of their comfort zone. But it's important to note, as we age, it's very normal to develop specific ways of doing things and becoming upset or irritable when our routine is disrupted. But someone with Alzheimer's or dementia, instead of just being irritated or upset, may become fearful, angry, or very easily frustrated with something that's normally simply addressed. Again, it's all of us can get upset when our routine is changed, right? That's very normal, and it's not a sign of dementia. However, becoming depressed or fearful or anxious with a subtle change, something that's very minor that should not be upsetting to them, but it is, that can be a sign of dementia. So again, just to recap, the 10 warning signs: memory loss that disrupts daily life, changes in planning or problem solving, difficulty completing familiar tasks, confusion with time or place, trouble understanding visual images and spatial relationships, new problems with words and speaking or writing, misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps to find them, decreased or poor judgment, withdrawal from work or social activities, in changes in mood and personality. So that's it for the presentation on our 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. There are a few other items I would like to talk to you about today, including how you can reach out to us, but also our Walk to End Alzheimer's and that event, and how you can participate and help out our organization with what we do. So every year we have our annual Walk to End Alzheimer's in both Roswell and Hobbs. Here with the Chavez County Health Expo, we really want to focus on the walk in Roswell. Here you can see some pictures of the walk in 2019, which is what we hope to return to today with a kind of vivid, fun, exciting in-person event located in Roswell. It's currently scheduled for October the 23rd at Cielo Grande Park. You can join us, sign up today, and then join us on October 23rd. In order to do so, you just have to go to the website act.alz.org/walkroswell. Again, that's act.alz.org/walkroswell. And if you would rather just reach out to me, I can sign you up myself. If you just want to send me an email with your information to ptmoore@alz.org, or just give me a phone call at 505-317-0978. I'll be happy to sign you up and help you through the process. Again, if you have any questions about the presentation today, about the 10 warning signs, or how to get a diagnosis, or you just want to have a care consultation or have a discussion, feel free to reach out to me. Again, my phone number is 505-317-0978, or you can send me an email at ptmoore@alz.org. Do not hesitate to send an email or a phone call if you have any questions about your loved one or yourself, and you just want to know more about the disease or what we do as an organization. Thank you so much for being here today with me through this presentation on the 10 warning signs. Again, please do feel free to reach out to me via phone or email. Or what you can do is I will be at the Health Expo. I will be at a booth in the park next to the farmers market through the early morning. If you want to stop by after watching this presentation, you want to meet me in person, you want to ask those questions in person, please feel free to come by. If you do, and you mention this part of the video here, because you made it all the way through, I have these little Lizzies here. While supplies last, I will be giving them away if you sign up for the walk. So please take the time to kind of swing on by, get to know me. I will have forms to sign you up for the walk, or you can just stop by and say hi to me, and we can have a talk about what's going on with you and your loved ones, and I can try to assist in any way that I can. But we have these cute little Lizzies. They're great for kids. They're even fun for adults. I have a few. I just keep them around. They're little friendly little animals here. So stop on by. Get your free Lizzie while we still have supplies lasting. And I look forward to meeting you all in person when you stop by to see me at the expo. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.